Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to round 3 of the beginner series of the GT3 Championships with IFWL. Right now you are on board with Barkatov. I believe I've raced against Barkatov in my time. Fairly formidable racer actually, so hat off to you, sir, in the beginner series. Looking forward to seeing some of your formidable driving. Oh, look at him taking that corner like a ferocious tiger. Maybe he needs his tyres warming up a little bit more. So, current track temperature today is 29 degrees, a nice warm ambient temperature of 23 degrees centigrade. Partial cloud cover, can't get my words out today. And track conditions are optimum. We're starting to see some more drivers filing into the server now. Total of 19 drivers. The majority are actually out on track now. This is Barkatov and good read behind him. Just about to complete a starting lap. Goes Barkatov in the Nissan GTR. King coming out with his Porsche. Okay, I think we've given Barkatov enough screen time, so let's jump over to Mr. Bowler, who is one of our finest IFWL racers in today's race. Again, I've raced and commentated and witnessed Bowler's driving in the past. Very safe, consistent. A well-known member of the IFWL community. Let's jump on board. So we have a couple of viewers on board with us today. Welcome to the stream. If you're just tuning in now, it's just getting started in practice. Our drivers have had lots of time in the tuning period leading up to this race to finesse their setups. This is Bowler taking his first timed lap out of the pits. Currently driving a Ferrari 296, coming down the start-finish straight now. There he is, blasting through, and what time has he got? He's managed to land a 1:43.6. Currently his best time. During today's race session, we are going to see a progressive increase of aggression leading up to the main event, which is the race, which is starting at just after 8 o'clock. Jumping over to Krieger, who's driving the Porsche 992. Very ambitious car for a beginner series driver. However, incredibly rewarding when you get the driving style spot on. It's currently one of my favourite cars to drive. Not because it's a sassy little car. That's all part of its character. It's just the braking style. You're pretty much on the brakes throughout the whole corner with this car, right up until you hit the apex. And that's the general rule of thumb. There he goes, absolutely belting past. Someone who's just taken a little tour around the circuit. So here comes Krieger with the flying lap. Let's jump on board with him and listen to those gorgeous sounds on board. No, don't want to look at him. Look at the circuit, that's better. There we go. Just there in the background you can see Barkatov chasing down Krieger. Very twitchy work coming through that corner. Right on the edge there, you can see Barkatov just about in the distance of his rearview mirror. I just spotted a message from Josh Price 2012. Good evening. Or good afternoon. Depending where you are in the world. Or good morning. And that puts Krieger in a 1:42.9. That is a fairly respectable lap time. Indeed, Ben. Looking forward to seeing what the drivers have in store for today's race. It's definitely going to be a wide array of driving styles on the circuit. Just going to jump over to Ian Holder, who's racing for Reaper Racing. Took it a little bit too wide there, but that's okay. This is all practice. We have just under 10 minutes left of the practice session here at Kyalami. Welcome to the new visitors watching today's race. It's the beginner series. Remember, if you're driving, don't watch streams and drive. I'm sure that's a message we need to be pumping out to our Stay Safe campaigns. I think we just start it up now, just like, you know, safe sim racing. We don't want to end up with drivers all over the set. Oh, hello. See what I mean? If you're watching the stream, you could end up like Mr. Holder. So there he goes, back into the pits. Let's watch something else. I'm sure that's not very entertaining for everyone. Jump over to Madsen in the McLaren. Danish racer for Team Nuller Esport. Currently on his out lap, getting that vital practice in before we get started in today's epic race at Kyalami. Okay, let's jump on board. Get some better views than rather just being far away and out of the way of the action. Kind of like someone who hasn't quite bought tickets to go and watch the actual event, would rather watch it from the roadside. So here we go, on his flying lap. Just drifting wide of the apex there. Hit that apex very nicely. Nice late apex for a nice fast exit. Coming through these corners now, keeping the car balanced. Teetering on the throttle. Oh, he's taking it a little bit. Oh, he was lucky to save that. Have a little graze on the pastures of South Africa and straight back onto tarmac. Looks to be a solid lap by Liam. Mr. Madsen here. If you're just joining us, IFWL round 3 of the beginner series of GT3 races. We're on board with Mr. Liam Madsen. Just about to come over the line, and he lands himself a 1:43.9. Solid mid-pack pace. But remember folks, it's not all about how fast you are. It's about your racecraft. It's about how you battle the field. It certainly helps to be fast. It's even more important to be consistent. So let's jump on board with another driver. Scrolling through, drum roll please, who are we going to pick? We're going to pick Chris Monk. Racing for Treeworks in a M4. It's a pleasure to be commentating for you all for the first time today in the beginner series. Get to know you all drivers, different driving styles, personalities. If you're watching the stream and you're racing, remember eyes on the road. But if you haven't already done your introductions, please go ahead, fill it out on the Discord. If you're not already on the Discord, you know what to do. Jumping on board with Monk's camera on the bonnet. Another consistent line coming through. Okay, final corner now. Let's see what Monk has in store. I'm predicting a 143. It's a 143A. A competitive lap time in today's race. Only got a couple minutes left of practice, where we're going to see our gladiators of today's race fight for the top spot. Ooh, Monk's had a little bit of a slip there. Well held. And he's just taking a picnic on the side of the road. And here is Steve Quirk for LNS Racing in the Lamborghini. He's currently in the middle of the pack as well. Good lap time. His best is currently 144.2. Personally haven't driven the Lamborghini that much. Only during the career mode, where when you first start up you have to drive a Lamborghini if you haven't done career mode already. So taking a look at some of the times in today's practice session. Wicks is currently in at a 142.1, very quick time indeed. Followed by Peelin, also very quick in the sub 143 category. We have 6 drivers in the sub 143s. That's very fast. Very fast indeed. That leaves us with 22 drivers. Canitano and Siddle are yet to take or even qualify a valid practice run. Canitano especially, with 0 laps, and Siddle hasn't even started. He's done a few laps but not been successful, so we'll see how that goes. Might be just experimenting with a new setup, fine-tuning, who knows. And I believe this is a familiar name. I might have raced with Alvaro before. I'll catch up with you in the chat later on, sir, if you have raced. Okay, jumping on board with Monk. He's currently out on the circuit. Oh, it looks like he's just invalidated that lap. So, without further ado, I have to do a little bit of admin in the background, so bear with me, and I'll see you very shortly. Welcome back. We're now taking our out lap. Currently on board with Christensen, driving for Nulla, another Danish driver in our midst. Our drivers will be looking to gain as much distance. Oh, there is someone who shouldn't be parking there in the middle of the circuit. It appears there's a Christmas livery on this one. Is it Christmas or Krampus? He looks like Santa Claus on the side. Gorgeous V8 sound blasting past our camera there. And there he is, just gaining a little bit of distance between himself and the driver in front. Oh, there's another person who can't park there. Correcting his angle. Christensen lining himself up for his first flying lap. Looks like he has enough space between himself and Mr. Peelan in front, who's driving the Ferrari, just about to approach turn 1. Very late apex for himself. As you can see, Christensen takes a slightly different line, a bit tighter. We'll find out who has the fastest lap time after this run. Just approaching the S's now. We'll keep that car balanced, Christensen. Excellent stuff. He's kept it within track limits. There's a rather large window sticker there, isn't it? You can't really see much of the rest of that view, so we're just going to go ahead and look at the bonnet view. There goes Christensen taking it. Fast and aggressive, coming through on Crocodiles. This corner's called Cheetah. You've got to watch out for that sausage just on the right hand side there. As soon as you tap that, game over. Final corner coming to Ingwe. So, what's it going to be? Christensen's currently in 5th. Once he goes over the line, he has 2nd place in the bag with a 1:43.1. Now, as we saw from practice, we know that there are other drivers out there that can hit the 1:42. So, who's that going to be? We have Peelan with a 1:42.8. Madsen in 2nd, 1:43. Okay, so jumping over to one of our other drivers. Let's check out Dave Brown, driving the AMG Mercedes. Very striking colours with this livery. Driving the car number 420. Now I know who's reserved that number. But it doesn't matter because I'm sitting in the commentary box, so I won't be needing a race number. The only number I'll need is 1. The number 1 commentator here. Not that I like to big myself up too much. It's all about the drivers, but you know, someone's got to do it. Pats himself on the back. And we have our very own Bowler with a 142.8 driving the Ferrari. And what's Brown going to take? He takes 17th. He secures 17th for now. And the reason that is because this is now his flying lap. Okay, let's take a look at Barkatov driving the Nissan for Rengst Racing. He's currently 6 seconds off the pace of his fastest lap time, currently sitting in 11th. He must have had a slight wobble earlier on the circuit. And just going over to the front of the pack with Wayne Bowler, also commentated for this gentleman in the past. Jumping on board. It's coming through Clubhouse Bend. He's currently 3/10 off his current fastest, which would put him, as this race continues, would put him in a respectable first place. So no pressure, sir. Keep up the great work. He's stacking up the tenths. He's doing really good. Currently 5/10 off from his best lap time of 142.8. There he goes through Cheetah. Avoids that nasty sausage on the right. And now he's coming up to Ingwe. He has a good exit speed. What's that going to leave him? And he's going to leave in first place. He's got a 142.1. Fantastic lap time. Excellent work. We currently have Mr. Christensen in second place. And he is 1/10 off his best lap time. He needs to find another few tenths as he comes through, leading up to Sunset. That's the name of this corner. And leading on to Clubhouse Bend. He's managed to find 3/10 so far. Taking it just an edge too wide. He's now 4/10, so that was some hairy footwork. But you recovered it. Well done, sir. Well done. Still currently 4/10. He has to find at least another 3/10 to put him in front of Mr. Bowler. But the way things are looking, it's looking like a second place on grid. We have only a few seconds left of qualifying. And what's it going to be for Christensen? He's 5/10. What's he going to have coming out of the exit? He comes over the line. And that's a second place secured. Great driving there, sir. Great driving. And towards the back of the pack, looking at Goodread. He's managed to find 2/10. If he keeps up that pace, he might put himself in front of Mr. McElwain, who's currently in the pits. And Macho Peas driving for Team Macho, comes over the line and puts himself in a nice 8th place. And Oliveira, just come back to this gentleman, which I may have raced with before. Oh, he's just nearly put himself on out of track limits there. As he comes over the line, he has found himself a astonishing 8/10, which puts him in 11th place on the grid. Okay, so as we have it, we have Bowler in 1st place, or in pole on the grid, followed by Christensen, Wicks, Peelan, Grieger, Madsen, Hansen, Macho Peas, Andy Goodread, and Monk in the top 10. I will be back shortly while I restart my view. Don't go anywhere. Okay, viewers, we're back. We're back, and we're about to race at Kyalami for round 3 of the beginner series of the ACC GT3 Championship here at IFWL.net. We have 22 cars on grid. quite a busy lineup today. So, as we said before, our top 10 positions, starting from the top with first place on the grid, we have Wayne Bowler driving the Ferrari for IFWL.net, followed by Christensen driving the Lamborghini in second there, Wicks driving the McLaren, Peelan in the Ferrari, Krieger in the Porsche, Madsen, Hansen, Macho Peas, Goodread and Monk makes up the top 10. We have 30 seconds now before cars start their short formation. That means the drivers need to get their setups ready and jump into their cars. Get the engines fired up. This is going to be a hot race today. Remember, folks, if you're racing, pay attention to the road, not the stream. Here we go. We have started. As we watch all the cars doing their dancing to warm their tyres up. Desperately in the short window that they have before the race start. We're about to start the race, just about to arrive at the line. And it's go, go, go! Here at Kyalami, straight down the straight, we have Christensen, who's just nosed himself in front, with Wicks just behind Bowler. Coming into the first corner, do we have any dramas? We have Peelan taking an ambitious leap out in front. Christensen secures his lead in front of Bowler. Krieger is hot on Bowler's tail. Krieger pushes his way through, muscles him out of the way, slightly off circuit, has a little nibble on grass, as do a few other drivers. How are we getting on towards the back of the pack? We have a few contacts, nothing too serious, everything's very respectable. There we go, and just taking a look towards the back of the field. Oh, we have someone come off! Someone's just come off! Who is this? It looks like one of our drivers, I think it was Holder that went out towards the back there. Oh, and then we just have Barkatov. Oh no, just on the screen now we have Barkatov just spinning out. Looks like he caught a bit of curb as he was coming out of that exit, coming off of the Leerkoop. Which is that top hairpin at the top of the circuit. God, there's a lot of spins so far. A lot of spins. So we see Krieger, Goodread and Monk have fallen back. I think we saw Monk is the one that... it was Monk. It's got quite a bit of damage. Let's just take that back a few seconds, shall we? So, just going back to what happened back at the start of the race there. Unfortunately, that was not where I wanted to look at. And there's Bargatov spinning out. So that was unfortunate. Okay, so taking a look at the race statistics. The top 5 don't seem to have moved much. Madsen's held his place in 6th place. But he does have Macho Peas very close behind him. Let's just take a look at that a second, how close that's getting. Looks like Macho Peas has had a bit of contact in this race today. The tasty Nando's side dish hunting down Madsen. Seems to be keeping his distance for now, trying to weigh up his moves. We have Steve Quirk. He managed to gain 8 positions on grid start in our first lap. It's fantastic work. And Krieger seemed to... Oh, and there's someone just gone off there. That was... I think that was Thrain that just went off. Or Goodread. It's quite hard to tell with all this movement. There goes Krieger just taking the position on Crab. And passing Madsen. Seems to have it, not having a great time on the circuit right now. It's being passed by a couple of other drivers as they come through Clubhouse Bend. Now just in the foreground you can see King and Brown battling it for 11th position. So jumping over to some of our other drivers. King and Brown. And Dyson. All fighting for their respective positions. The grid seems to be balancing out quite nicely. We have a nice battle between Goodread and Monk at the moment. Oh, that was... Oh, there's a bit of contact. Monk makes contact with Goodread. And Thrain is doing his utmost to try and take advantage of his position now. Putting Goodread in 18th place. Let's just take a look a few seconds back, see what happened there as he was coming up through those bends. Looks like Monk almost couldn't handle, and he outbraked himself, leading himself into Kyalami. Sorry, Liacoup. I get my letters mixed up these days. Okay, jumping over to... Let's just take a look at Brown and King. All of them hunting down the train for 9th position on Dyson still. Good race pace. Meanwhile, you have the anticipation of taking 9th place, but in the background, you're breaking a sweat because King wants your position too. We come out of Kyalami. Fast downhill section. Oh, Dyson's not doing too good on that corner. Brown takes some good advantage. Oh! Dyson hits the sausage, the formidable sausage. Let's put him some positions back. He's lost 3 positions from eating the sausage. The forbidden sausage. You can't eat that, mate. So, Brown's wish of 9th position has been granted. But that still leaves King and Krieger hungry for his position. Let's hope no one eats any more sausages. Going on board with King. Looks like Krieger's just taken a position on... I apologise. Krieger's taken a position on King. Coming through Sunset and into Clubhouse. And there they go through the S's. Beautiful flat six sound. Very different lines from both of those drivers. Mr. King is racing for Bad Decisions Racing. Don't know if that's in reference to your car choice or... Oh, and there's a bit of door banging going on ahead there. As they fight for that position to avoid the sausage. Well dodged. Looks like Krieger wins the position on Brown. So they come down the start-finish straight now. Well and truly in the slipstream of Brown. Is Brown going to defend turn one? He does. He manages to hold that line. Just taking a look at towards the back of the pack, fighting for 17th position. Oh, that was some close racing there. A dive bomb into turn one. Bargatov wins it. I'm sure Holder's not very impressed with that. Hunting him down with his Grim Reaper livery. Is he going to snatch that straight off of Bargatov's hands? Time will tell, time will tell. Meanwhile behind, fighting for 19th position, Thrain and Oliveira. Leading up to Clubhouse, is Oliveira going to switch on him and take that corner? He does, he manages it very cleanly. And off Oliveira goes into the distance. Making some good distance between himself and Thrain. Thrain suffering from quite a bit of what looks like some aero damage on his bonnet. Towards the front of the pack, we have the fight for first position between Pelan and Christensen. And Pelan makes a very ambitious move on turn one on the inside. Looked like Christensen outbraked himself. So we're 11 minutes in today's race. Here at Kyalami, nice moderate temperatures, 24 degrees ambient, 30 track temperature. I'm sure that's going to be cooking people's tyres as the heat builds. So do tensions. And it looks like Christensen might be suffering, because he's definitely losing some distance between himself and Pelan now. It's a good second difference in space between the two. The pack seems to have balanced out quite nicely. Meanwhile, King and Brown are back at it again. Coming down Keir Loop. Jump on board. Check the wings, see how close Brown is. And see what moves he does as he comes in through this turn. Not quite got enough the exit speed as they approach the formidable sausage. King manages to hold his distance from Brown. Well, we have a position change towards the back between Oliveira and Holder. And Bargatov seems to have eaten a bit of grass again. Now's not the time, Bargatov. Leave the grass alone. Is that a driver that just went straight on? Saw it out of the corner of my eye. Must have been Oliveira just being far too fast for me. Okay, King and Brown. Let's have a look at what's going on here. So Brown is desperate to find some place to get past. Oh, very quick approach. Very quick. Far too deep. Loses a lot of time to King. I appreciate the frustration when you have some sections that you're faster on than the other driver. You certainly have to try and push them to their limit and force them to work their tyres harder than they normally do. So, taking a look between Hansen and Macho Peas. The spicy Petit Pois is hunting down Hansen. Some very twitchy handwork there. The track does fall away somewhat, leaving the nose of the car having to catch up. Hence why the steering gets quite light coming down that hill. That's well balanced, well balanced. Hansen's got his composure. Coming out through the last turn. He's managed to gain quite a bit of distance between Macho Peas now. So there is still a battle going on between Peelan and Christensen. Coming through Sunset. Very quick short shifting down there. Still keeping a healthy distance from Christensen. Just under a second gap. Oh, Christensen manages to really take advantage of catching up towards corner arrival, but the exit speed, he just doesn't have it. Peelan just manages to Peelan away. And that was a 1:42.7. Race pace is fast, but it wasn't like it was in qualifying. So jump into a fight between Bowler and Wicks for third place. Bowler's keeping his composure. Wicks is definitely gaining some centimetres on him as he approaches. Oh, that is a squeeze coming through Sunset. Oh, and Wicks seems to have the edge on him, and he's managed to overtake him coming through Clubhouse Corner. And now the tables have turned. Bowler is hunting him down. As you can see there, the gap is just growing. It's not quite what Bowler had in mind. Approaching corner entry there, slightly wider than Wicks. Coming up towards the sausage now. Oh, Bowler really trying to avoid fate with the sausage and ends up eating a little bit of grass on the exit there. So going towards the back, we have Holder and Thrain battling for 18th. Both sporting similar colour liveries. It's almost like when you go on a night out and you see someone with the same top as you, you feel a little bit awkward, don't you? Except one's got a Grim Reaper on it and the other one's Fast Shapes, I guess. I'm a fan of both, really. Anyway, let's have a look at the chase cam. Oh, we have something going on. We have people entering the pits now. Wicks has just taken his first pit, along with Dyson. So there's going to be quite a lot of position changes now. So now we have a battle for Hansen and Macho Peas with just 0.2 of a second difference between the two. And Quirk is not so far behind in the Lamborghini. Doesn't look like Macho Peas is having a very good time. Maybe it's time for him to pit. Have a nice fresh set of tyres. Again, the track temperature is probably doing a number. Oh, Quirk is pushing his way through. Manages to find some space on the tarmac between him and the Spicy Pea. Might also be time for Macho Peas. Oh! And Quirk has taken it a little bit wide. Macho Peas takes a good dive in. Oh! Oh! Quirk has just eaten a little bit of sausage. The forbidden sausage. No! It's happened again. So, lots of drama in today's race. It's jumping over to Monk. It's quite the battle between Oliveira and Monk going on. As they come up to Crocodiles, Oliveira is sniffing down his exhaust pipe. Coming through Cheetah and onto Ingwe. Oliveira certainly has the slipstream coming. He's having a look. He's having a look on the right. Having a look on the left. Is he going to make that move? Is he going to make that move? He's not. But he is very close up his exhaust there. Seems like Oliveira has a good exit on his corners, but just can't quite find the space to deliver on that exit speed. So we'll come back to these two. There's a battle for 17th still with Thrain and Wicks. Wicks has taken his pit. Wicks seems to have a faster pace over Thrain as he takes him round Sunset Bend. So Krieger and Macho Peas. Coming through turn 1 there. Hansen just in the foreground. Just a second in front. Well, you can really see that Porsche getting a bit tail happy. Oh, he has great exit speed coming out of that turn. Excellent work. Manages to find some space on Clubhouse and get some phenomenal distance between himself and Macho Peas. How did you manage that? That was some great work. Peelan and Christensen are still at it. Christensen having a peek. He's not going to have the speed on Peelan this time round. So we'll keep an eye on those two. Quirk and Crab fighting for 8th position. Blasting up to Crocodiles. Just in the background you can see Brown just a second behind Crab in the Ferrari. Crab is just 4/10 behind. What's his next move's going to be here? Just keep an eye on these two. Crab is slowly inching toward Quirk. Doesn't quite have the right line coming through Clubhouse turn. Oh, he's gone slightly wide. Recovers it. Carries on. Good work, good work. But not enough to get in front of Quirk. Towards the back of the, well, the front of the pack, Hansen and Krieger are fighting for 4th. Oh, Krieger eats a bit of the curb. Goodness knows how he manages to survive that. That was the formidable Cheetah Sausage. So Hansen is defending his position on Krieger, manages to close the door nicely, stops him making any advancements. He is really pushing him, coming through those turns. Flying towards Sunset Corner, he's still keeping his distance. Oh, Krieger's just pushing it a little bit too far on the limit there. Macho Peas is so close to Krieger now. Just 0.3 of a second. Just getting that rear quarter shot again. As they come up to Leerkoop. Was it Leerkop? Some small errors on Krieger's end. Macho P's just analysing his next moves. And just looking at the times, it looks like Brown has just made a small mistake, which has left Madsen and Crab in front. Here they come, approaching turn 1, Crowthorne. Oh, that's some close racing. Krieger's having a go. Doesn't quite make barbecue. Don't worry folks, the names that I'm throwing out, they're genuine corner names. So if you're not familiar with Kyalami corner names, you're learning them right here. IFWL. Oh, there's some. Oh, is he gonna? He's gonna hold that. He manages to keep that gap nice and tight. Coming through the S's. And they come up to Leerkop. Down the hill. Oh, Hansen's taken it a little bit too wide and Krieger has dived in. He is not safe yet. He has to avoid the sausage. Yes, he has secured that position. Next up, Macho Peas. Do your best. Do your best to hold that position. Take a look at the back of the pack. Monk and McElwain battling it out for 20th or 19th position. Taking a look at these two BMWs. Monk is very cautious and McElwain just says, hold my beer. Full send. Onto the start-finish straight. Keeps that distance. Okay, we have just over 7 minutes left of this race. And somewhere, somehow, Peelan has fallen back to 3rd position. Just take a look at the exterior shot and see if there's any evidence of damage. I don't see anything on the race control. Perhaps it was something to do with a pit stop. Have to check back after the race. But for now, Macho Peas is ahead of Krieger and Hansen. Krieger's getting harassed by Hansen, back with a vengeance to take that position back. Krieger defends turn 1. Textbook. Comes through Juxski sweep. And on to Barbecue. He's certainly got some distance now. I apologise for the errors that are coming up on the screen at the moment. We'll be back to normal streaming shortly. So we have a battle between Crab and Brown at the moment. There's 1/10 of a second between the two. So they battle it out for 10th position. Well defended, but Brown takes advantage on the hairpin. And he takes that 10th position. Flying down the hill, hunting down Quirk. Crab biding his time. I think he has some good exit speed. Brown, his back end, getting a bit twitchy. Crab is cautious arriving at that sausage. Jumping over to Quirk's view. He has Brown in his rear view. Oh, that was a bit close. He's really looking for that place to overtake now. That Mercedes really has a pull on that straight. And he takes Quirk with ease. Excellent. That leaves Brown in 9th position. Quirk might be having some troubles. It really does, because now you have Crab who's looking for that 10th. Oh, there's a bit of contact! Bit of contact for both of them. And Crab is just off in the distance. Taking full advantage of that position. Let's just go back and have a look at that. Just muscled out of the way. Well, I'm sure the stewards are going to have something to say after today's race about that incident. So, Canetano and Crab, or Quirk rather, are fighting for 11th position. Hansen and King still at it. Hansen with a rather battle-scarred front end. Flying towards sunset. Quite a solid pack of drivers. We have just over 2 minutes left of today's race. King is really pushing the limits of his Porsche. Grazing on a bit of soil. King seems to be losing that gap, or not gaining anything. As they come towards Crocodiles, you can really see you can brake a lot later in the Porsche compared to the BMW. It's all about that exit. If you can't lay the traction down on that rear wheel drive, all that weight's hanging over the back. There we go, blasting down the start-finish straight. There's a bit of a battle going on behind, still with Canetano and Quirk, who was muscled off the circuit just now by Crab. McElwain stalking in the background, looking for the right moment to jump in. Oh, Quirk is getting a bit twitchy. Or shall we say a bit quirky. Canetano maintains his composure. Okay, that was the signal for the leader Christensen on his final lap. And just taking a look at Bowler and Pelan. Still want to find out what happened to Pelan earlier. But Pelan's losing distance on Bowler. There might be something up with his car. However, gains a few tenths back on him after turn 1. Still creeping it through. So keeping an eye towards the back. Hansen and King are still having their fair share of fun. Pelan getting ever so closer to Bowler. I can almost smell Bowler's sweat from here. So here they come up the hill towards Leacoup or Leacop. Still need to get that pronounced right. So that's 3 tenths distance between Bowler and Pelan. Flying towards the Crocodiles. What's he going to do here? What's he going to do? Jumping on board with Pelan. Let's have a look at this attack on the last set of corners. Whoa, that was close to that sausage curb. Here is the last corner. Christensen takes pole position. He wins the race here at Kyalami, followed by Bowler, then Pelan, putting it in the barrier. Cregan is in 4th position, feeling no pressure from any competition. There he goes over the line in 4th place. Meanwhile, we have a battle between Hansen and Macho P still, but that's concluded with 5th and 6th place. Madsen is 8th and Brown is 9th. That seems to be a foregone conclusion as they arrive at the start-finish line now. And that puts Madsen certainly up there on the grid in 7th and 8th place. Canetano comes over the line in 10th. Oliveira in 12th. Wicks in 13th. McElwain in 14th. Monk has taken 15th. Oh, and Wicks hits the barrier. Well, that's one way to sign out. Excellent. Well, that concludes our race here at Kyalami for the beginner series of ACC GT3 races here with IFWL. Be sure to check in on Discord for banter and for more details on any future races coming up. Be sure to subscribe on Twitch if you haven't already done so. Make sure you have your notifications switched on so that you know when the next race is coming in. So, from the commentary box, this is Adam Ty, your resident commentator, signing off. Next week, same time, same place. See you then.